Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's Feature in Focus. I am your host, Brandy, the CS team lead here at Ideal Traits, and today we are going to be going over how to stand out in a crowded job market. I know usually in these webinars, I am going over a feature, maybe something you've used, haven't used, an add on feature. Today, we are taking it back to the basics of the main feature that probably most of you are using Ideal Traits for, and that is posting a job ad. So, we are going to be going over kind of crafting a well put together job ad and then also just helping that job ad get the best reach possible. Most of you probably use Ideal Traits for our job posting. So this should kind of hit home for every single one of you that are on this webinar today. As always, please feel free to chat into the chat below if I'm talking about anything and you have questions. I'll read through those at the end and kind of answer everyone's questions. And this is recorded as always, so these will be up on YouTube on our channel. If you want to refer back to this, maybe you have a recruiter or someone else that is on the account that you want to hear all of these tips and tricks as well. So feel free to when you get the recording, usually it comes out a day-ish, maybe this afternoon, tomorrow, usually. Pass it along to anyone else using your guys' Ideal Traits account. But um, we will be diving into it. So job ads, this is something I probably look at, I don't know, hundreds of job ads a week. Maybe that's aggressive, but somewhere around that. And I really wanted to put together just kind of some of the tips, tricks that we've been seeing when it comes to writing a job ad. And then also, once you got your job ad, how can you help it get the best reach? You put the content together, everything's set up, there's nothing really left to tweak. What can you do next to kind of help get some more candidates? So we'll be diving into all those things today. And let's jump into it. Let me share my screen. All righty. So to begin, kind of today, we will be going over the 3 C's of hiring. If you've been around Ideal Traits for a bit now, you probably have heard us say this a million times. Honestly, if you've spoken to someone in sales versus service, you might have heard a couple different variations of our 3 C's. But for me, the 3 main C's of hiring when it comes to creating your job ad and thinking of what you want to do is your compensation, your content, and your competition. So, first thing first, nobody wants to work for free. When it comes to a job, your compensation is huge. That is the main reason the majority of your candidates are going to apply. Is it a compensation they're looking for? Is it competitive to your market? Lots and lots of different factors when it comes to that. So we'll be kind of diving into that in a little bit. Next is content we'll be going over. So keeping it concise, keeping it relevant, um, really trying to give the facts that the candidate is looking for and staying away from the extra fluff that isn't really needed in your job ad. And lastly, this one kind of affects everything, but your competition. It doesn't matter if you have a great job ad and you've worked really hard on it, but if you are paying way less than the other companies down the road in your area, or if you are using a job title that no one really uses in the market and the competition's all using really common job titles, people are not going to find your ad as quickly as the competition. So we'll be going over, again, all those things as we dive into it. But when you are writing your job ad, try to think back on these 3 C's of, is my competition competitive? Is my content good? And then also, what is my competition doing? Am I keeping up with the trends? Am I keeping up with the businesses down the road? So starting from the top is writing a good job title. Sounds so simple, but I have seen some wild job titles in my years here at Ideal Traits. So, really try to put yourself in the candidate's shoes when it comes to writing a job title. Try to think if I am looking for a sales agent or just a sales representative, am I, as a sales rep, going to be looking up sales ninja or some crazy titles of urgently hiring or anything like that? Probably not. I'm probably going to log on to Indeed, type in sales rep, sales representative, something pretty simple, and then I'm going to look at the jobs that come up. So keep that in mind. The easiest way I like to explain it too is, what's the job title on their business card? Is it just sales representative? Then boom, simple and easy as that. A couple of things you can add that can be helpful is adding things like entry level or remote to the job title. A lot of times, those are keywords that candidates are searching for. Entry level, especially on some of the job boards, that is a filter that they can add when they're searching. So, having that in the ad somewhere, whether that's in the job title, description, will just help if you're attracting entry level candidates for it to pop up a little bit higher for them. As well as that is leverage your company recognition. We have a handful of insurance clients that use Ideal Traits. And if you are part of a large carrier like Allstate or Farmers, mention that. If you are a dealership and you are part of a larger branding, feel free to throw that in the title too. Many times candidates are searching for specific companies if it is part of a larger group. And that can definitely help get you some additional reach as well. Big things to stay away from. I know we all love our emojis, but not the place for your job ad. Same with symbols. I've seen some job titles where they put like a bunch of money signs in the job title. Obviously, we all want to work for money, but that does not need to go in the job title. Internal lingo, abbreviation. So maybe internally you call this position something completely different, but try to stick to the industry standards. What is your competitors going to be posting as? What is the competition and similar roles going to be posting as? And stick to those titles. A candidate is probably not going to be searched for your internal title if that is something specific to your business. So keep that in mind as you are writing these titles. Excessive bolding kind of looks spammy. So definitely stay away from that. And then really try to stay away from that clickbait. Things like amazing opportunity, once in a lifetime opportunity, make as much money as you want. Things that you're trying to get people to click on it, but save that for when you are working with the candidate. Save that for maybe if you're posting it on social media. Maybe you can explain that a little bit more in the job description, but that is not the place in the job title when you guys are writing it. So you got your job title finally crafted down. Next is your requirements and responsibilities. Very straightforward section. You want to keep this exactly what the candidate can expect. There was a statistic I read probably 2 or 3 years ago, but it said candidates are reviewing your job application in 11 seconds or less. I feel like that's wild. So I don't know how spot on that is. But if you think about it, they're probably on their phone. They're probably scrolling through hundreds of job ads and they are looking for the key things. So keeping your information concise without all that extra fluff is really going to help attract the candidate's attention to those main key points. Using bullet points, we have numbering that you guys can use in this area. If you have a requirement that is dead set, feel free to maybe bold that very top requirement or underline that very top requirement. Um, Keep in mind too, all of your accounts include that AI resume match. So that is pulling from the requirements. So use that to think of what are some of the keywords I'm looking for on a candidate's resume. I'm going to put that in my requirements. So then that AI resume match can link those two things up. Like I mentioned, don't overload that list. If you have 20 requirements, it's really no candidate's going to read all 20 of those. So try to think down to those main top points. What are you looking for? And then I mentioned you can bold and underline, but don't go excessive. If you are bolding the entire thing, it's really just going to look spammy on the job boards. I'm sure you guys probably get lots of spam emails and spam phone calls these days. There are lots of spam jobs on the job boards these days, too. So the more you can make your business look legitimate, it's only going to help you. So stay away from that excessive bolding, underlining, lots of symbols, anything like that that could definitely hurt your job ad. Moving on to next, salary transparency. So when it comes to writing your salary, this is something that almost every client I work with, we have a conversation about. Um, if there is commission involved, I highly, highly recommend adding some transparency. Is the base this much and entry level candidates make X amount of dollars? Experienced candidates can make up to X amount. You guys are in the driver's seat, obviously, when it comes to writing the salary, but really honing in on the details of your salary. Something really important too is knowing what your competition is offering. I know it is tough. Maybe it's not in your budget to pay the same as maybe everyone else that's nearby, but be aware of that if you are listing a salary that is much lower than the competition in your area. It's helpful to know. It might mean it's going to take a little bit longer to find the right candidate. But it is helpful to keep that in the back of your head just so you do know what you are up against in your local area. If it's a remote role, just kind of helps you be more aware of what everyone else is offering. Next is benefits. So if you are, maybe you're offering a little bit lower of a salary, but you got a lot of really great benefits. So this is a section where you really want to beef it up. Um, don't hold back. I'm like, can keep concise title, keep a concise responsibilities and requirements. But when it comes to the benefits, you don't got to keep it concise. Load this up with all of the benefits that you guys offer. I usually recommend at least 5. If not, get to 10. Load it up as much as you can. I think sometimes people think benefits is just healthcare, PTO, and I don't know, weekends off, but you can add so many more that are unique to your guys' business. I've seen things on there like dogs are welcome in the office. Maybe you offer 1 day a year that they get the day off to go volunteer. I've seen a lot of really unique benefits too, like pet insurance, or maybe you offer partial of their healthcare covered. Um, really try to dig into what are some of those unique things that make you different and you offer to your employees. I think I saw someone too that was in a vacation town, pretty big beach town, and they have parking on site, which is not super common in their area. Something she didn't even think of and made a huge difference where employees were excited that they wouldn't have to pay for parking or park far away. So think a little bit on the benefits. What really could entice a candidate to want to apply to this role, and what makes you stand out against maybe someone down the road? All right, so we got your titles good, responsibilities, requirements, benefits. Everything feels great. You're posting your job ad. It's been a week. You're not getting many candidates. Or maybe you're getting candidates, but you're not getting quality candidates or candidates fast enough or whatever else reason you're kind of having. The next thing to kind of consider is sponsorship. So sponsorship is essentially boosting your job ad to be higher on the job board as well as getting more eyes on your job ad. So the simplest way I say is it just increases your visibility. Um, Indeed, ZipRecruiter both offer sponsorship. They both kind of break it down a little bit differently. But this is where it really matters to what your competition is doing. Every local area is a little bit different. We work with clients all over the US, and I see some clients post a job ad and it gets a great amount of traction organically, not having to apply sponsorship at all. Versus, I've worked with a handful of clients who everyone in their local area is sponsoring. So, to keep up kind of with their competition, they have to apply a sponsorship to their job ad to help increase that visibility. So, when to consider if maybe it's time for you to apply a sponsorship? One, if your application is slow, if you are posting a job ad, you're not getting candidates quick enough, consider adding a sponsorship to help increase that reach, get your job in front of more candidates. Um, Maybe you are trying to make a fast hire and you're like, I need people now. Consider adding a sponsorship. Um, as well as if you are posting a job ad that's maybe requires a certain kind of license, requires a couple years of experience. Maybe they got to be bilingual. Maybe they got to be in office and you are in a tougher market. That is when I would highly recommend applying a sponsorship. When you are really increasing your requirements and getting into a very niche group of candidates, sponsorship is going to really enhance that. What it does too is it is going to take those requirements and it is going to show your job ad to candidates that meet those requirements. I'm not promising you that everyone's going to be perfectly qualified, but it is going to help reach more qualified candidates and get it in front of them. So, definitely when you have some tougher requirements, I highly recommend sponsorship. Um, if you guys are considering adding a sponsorship to your job ad, you have kind of two opportunities to do so. One is right when you first post your job ad, you can add a sponsorship right then and there. The other option is if you already have a job ad posted, if you are on your jobs tab and click that action drop down, you'll see a button to sponsor and you can sponsor right through there. So, as I mentioned, there is two options. Option one is ZipRecruiter offers a sponsorship. That is a one-time fee across 30 days. You set it up and you are done. Can't touch it. You just wait 30 days for that sponsorship to run its course. The other option is Indeed, and this is probably one of our more popular sponsorship options just because it gives you a little bit more flexibility when it comes to your budget. So, Indeed allows you to set a budget for either 15 or 30 days. And then once you set the budget, you will only be charged for what has been spent. So, let's say I set a budget for $50 over the next 30 days. I get a handful of applies, I make a hire, it's only spent $30 on my budget. When I go to take that ad down, it will stop. I won't get charged the full $50. I'm only going to get charged what has been spent so far. So this really allows you to kind of take control of your sponsorship budget. You can monitor it. You can see how many clicks it's getting, how many views people are looking at it, how many applies you've gotten. And it lets you kind of be able to pause the job ad, stop the sponsorship, add more if you'd like to, throughout that campaign budget. So gives you a lot of flexibility versus ZipRecruiter. It is set 30 days, a set amount, and then you just sit and wait for it to do its magic. So if you ever do need help setting up a sponsorship, maybe you're like, Brandy, I don't know if I need to do that. I don't really want to invest money into it unless I know for sure. Definitely feel free to schedule a call with our support team. We can kind of walk you through this, as well as for clients with ideal traits who have not sponsored on Indeed before, we do offer a new user credit. So if you've never used Indeed before to sponsor on, we can walk you guys through that. For your first time creating an Indeed account, you will get a $100 new user credit. that you can use towards your first sponsorship. So, a lot of times that's a really good way to kind of get your feet wet, see what sponsorship is like, see the change kind of in your application flow. And then without investing kind of that first initial $100, and then you can make a decision from there and kind of see how it works as well. So, as I said, please schedule with us if you do have questions on that. I'm always happy to walk you through it. We can jump on a video call, kind of answer any questions that you have too. So, um, lastly, today I wanted to touch on something that I feel like people forget often. Is you post your job ad, it's going to the job boards. Maybe you apply to sponsorship and you're kind of waiting for people to come in. There is still more to do if you want to. So people forget all the time the power of social media, the power of referrals, the power of using your own network. Um, Everyone has a career page within their Ideal Traits account. And this is a landing page that you guys can customize with your logo, your colors, all your social media accounts, videos, anything that you want to put on this page. You can customize it with those fields. Um, please share that out on your social media accounts. Pass it along to your current employees for them to share on their social media accounts. Um, this is a great way to market your business and also all of the openings that you have currently at your business. Um, when it comes to referrals, it's like using your network, you already kind of know, and you can kind of vet them through your current employees if it's someone they know, versus starting from scratch of just a random person applying on Indeed or ZipRecruiter. So, something with that too, if you have a company LinkedIn page, you can connect that to your Ideal Traits as well. Um, LinkedIn's the only one that we won't post to on your behalf. It has a little bit of an extra step. If you go to the marketplace in your Ideal Traits account and you paste your company ID there and connect it, that will then allow us to send your job ad to the LinkedIn job board on behalf of your company. So it will show your company's posted it. Any applies that come through LinkedIn will go right into your Ideal Traits account. Um, you're also welcome just to share the URL on LinkedIn or share the URL on social media. But a lot of times people don't realize or don't think about it to share it out. And you might get some great candidates who are some of your customers that are interested in working at your business and you didn't even think to share it out that way. So give that some thought. We have a couple clients who do even like referral competitions for current employees. They give credit to their current employees if they make a referral and they end up hiring them. So check that out as well. We do also offer a way of sourcing. So you can do unique links for each employee. If they refer a friend and that friend applies through that employee's referral link, it will give credit and let you guys know, hey, Susie Q that works in accounting. She made a referral and you can give her credit. So if that is something you're interested in, please feel free to set up a support call. We can kind of help walk you through that with referrals as well. But don't let it stop you, just the job boards alone. Share it out on your socials, share it out on your website. There are so many even Facebook groups that are hiring in certain cities, hiring in certain areas that you can share your job link out as well. So don't let it stop you just thinking Indeed's gonna bring in all of your candidate traction. Get creative. I know a lot of clients will also reach out to local colleges to have them share the links out. So if you ever need help kind of thinking through some of these ideas, again, contact support. We're happy to kind of go over some things that have worked for other of our clients in the past too. But all righty. Well, I'm just on time. Look at that. So, any questions, feel free to pop them down there. But that is just about all I have for today. Um, let's see. Oh, I did get a question. So, can I get more exposure and get a better rate on sponsorship by going directly to Indeed and ZipRecruiter? So, that's a great question. So, if you haven't used Indeed before, like I mentioned, you can get that new user credit of $100 for going through us. So, that is a huge benefit of starting with Ideal Traits, as well as Indeed charges per day when it comes to sponsoring, versus Ideal Traits does do for 15 or 30 days. So a lot of times this is helpful because it will space that budget out a little bit more versus being per day. Essentially, it is the exact same sponsorship. It is the exact same opportunities. The thing that is going to really make a difference is your local area, the job ad you're posting, and the requirements that you're looking at. So if you are posting a entry level remote role, your recommended budget is going to be a lot lower than if you were posting an in office, bilingual, must have 10 years of experience role. That budget for sponsorship is going to be much higher. So the rates are set by Indeed and ZipRecruiter. So it is the same whether you go directly through us or directly through Indeed. They set the rates for both. However, like I mentioned, going through us, you then can view all that reporting right in your Ideal Traits account. We're able to see that too, so we can have a little bit better conversations with you if you reach out to our support team. Just gives us a little bit more insight to help you guys too. So, great question. Awesome. All right. Well, we got one more minute. Any other questions? No? Awesome. All right. Well, as I've said probably 5 times, but if you guys need anything, please, please feel free to reach out to our support team. If you are in your Ideal Traits account, click on that chat bubble at the bottom right, schedule a call with us. We're happy to kind of go over anything I went over today. Or if you just need someone to review your job ad with you, we can always do that too. So give us a holler, and I will see you guys all next week for the next Feature in Focus. Have a great rest of your day.